The world is still. The silence wraps around you like a soft blanket. You might think nothing's happening, but this moment, this quiet, it's sacred. Not every transformation arrives with thunder. Some arrive with a whisper, a slow breath, a choice to stay present. If you've ever felt behind, if you've ever felt like you needed to do something to be something, let this moment remind you, you already are. There is wisdom in stillness, clarity in quiet, and healing that happens only when the noise fades. So tonight, surrender to the slow. Let your nervous system soften. Let your heart be unguarded. This is your time. And time doesn't rush healing. If you're awake right now, you're not the only one. There are others breathing through the same ache. Others whispering prayers into dark rooms. Others wondering if morning will bring relief. And even though you don't see them, you are connected. By pain. By hope. By the raw courage it takes to keep showing up. So, when it feels like the world is asleep and you're the only one left with your thoughts, know this. You're not strange. You're not broken. You're part of something deeper. A community of quiet healers. A chorus of soft strength. And soon you'll be joined by another guide. Someone who speaks truth with fire and grace. Someone who helps untangle the twisted lies of gaslighting and self-doubt. Her name is Tasha James. And at 4 a.m., she's going to tell you the truth you were never meant to forget. Until then, rest easy. Your healing continues even here. Good morning, or good middle of the night. If you're here right now, chances are your thoughts are circling. And maybe, just maybe, you're wondering if it's too late. Too late to reset. Too late to change. Too late to return to yourself. Let me assure you, it is not. You are safe to begin again. This hour belongs to grace, to the quiet courage of starting small, to the gentle unfolding of who you really are beneath the noise. No one's watching you here. There are no gold stars for pushing through. No judgment for how messy it feels. Just breath. Just presence. Just you, giving yourself another chance. And that's more than enough. That's everything. Let's do something together. Place your feet flat on the floor. Drop your shoulders if they're tense. Unclench your jaw. Feel the weight of your body supported. Now breathe in through your nose. Hold for just a 2 seconds. Exhale slowly. Let it go. Again, inhale. Hold. Exhale. This moment is real. Not the regret of yesterday. Not the worry of tomorrow. But this breath. This heartbeat. You are anchored. You are here. And that is where your power begins. There's something important I want you to hear tonight. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who notices them. That voice in your head, the one that questions your worth, your timing, your progress, it isn't the voice of truth. It's the voice of fear, of old wounds, of misaligned expectations. Thoughts will pass like clouds. Let them float by. Observe them. Name them. But do not let them build a house in your chest. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not your past. You are the sky that holds the weather, never destroyed by the storm. So breathe. Let this moment remind you that awareness is strength. That noticing is healing. What are you feeling right now? Maybe anxiety. Maybe numbness. Maybe sadness. Whatever it is, name it without judgment. Now breathe into it. You're not here to get rid of it. You're here to allow it to move through. Emotions are not problems to fix. They are signals. They are messengers. And you, my friend, are learning to listen. Sit with it. Not forever. Just long enough to say, I see you, I feel you, I'm still here. That's healing. That's growth. Let it move through. Not to overpower you, but to free you. Rest is not a reward. It is a right, a sacred act of self-trust. Somewhere along the way, someone convinced you that rest must be earned. That stillness is laziness. That productivity is proof of value. But tonight, I want you to breathe that lie out of your body. Inhale peace. Exhale guilt. Rest is resistance to the voices that measure your worth in tasks. Rest is resilience, the kind that comes from knowing your soul needs tending too. You are not a machine. You are not your output. You are a human being worthy of softness. So if you're tired, let that be a reason. Not something to fight, but something to honor. You are allowed to rest. Deeply. Fully. Without explanation. Can you hear it? The voice that only speaks when everything else goes quiet. It doesn't shout. It doesn't beg for attention. It whispers. With clarity. That is your inner knowing. The part of you that isn't chasing. isn't pretending, isn't performing. It simply knows. And in the stillness, it returns. Tonight, you don't need to have the answers. You only need to listen. Put your hand on your heart. Feel it, the steady rhythm that says, I'm still here. That's enough. That's always been enough. Let the stillness speak. It knows the way forward, even when your mind does not. The silence you hear right now might feel empty, but it's not. It's full of everything you've survived. The ache, the longing, the quiet disappointments you never named. But you are not alone here. I am here, and more importantly, you are here. You've carried yourself through the nights that had no witness. You've sat in the dark and still woke up. That is not nothing. The silence is not empty. It's sacred. And you're not the only one learning how to sit with it. Others are awake too, searching, questioning, breathing through the same shadows. This moment connects us across time zones, across screens, across hearts. You are not alone. Not in this silence. Stillness is uncomfortable, not because it's wrong, but because it's honest. It reveals what noise tries to cover. Your thoughts, your fears, your longings. But don't run from that. Lean into it. The stillness is not here to shame you. It's here to teach you. Teach you what peace sounds like when no one's performing. Teach you how to recognize your truth beneath the noise. When you stop filling every space with distraction, you make room for wisdom. You might not have all the answers tonight, but in stillness, you'll start asking better questions. Let stillness guide you. Let it grow you. Let it soften you. You are becoming. Right here, in the quiet. The breath you just took was an act of resilience. Even if it didn't feel like much, you're still here, still showing up, still reaching for something softer in a world that often feels sharp. That matters. That counts. Some nights, the bravest thing you'll do is breathe through it, through the memory that stung, through the fear that whispered lies, through the doubt that tried to take up too much space. The breath you just took, it made space for the next one. One breath at a time. You are unwinding the tight knots of your day. You are loosening the grip of your inner critic. You are choosing to stay, even now, especially now. Healing doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it's quiet, almost invisible. A moment when you didn't spiral, a thought you paused before believing, a memory you met with softness instead of shame. That's healing. That's progress. You're not required to turn your pain into performance. You don't need to narrate your recovery. You're allowed to grow in private. Some of your most profound changes will happen in moments no one sees. Like now, when you choose to sit with your truth, when you don't rush past your emotion, when you simply allow yourself to exist, unfixed, unfinished, undeniably real. That's the kind of healing that lasts. The kind that doesn't need an audience. Just your presence. You were never meant to follow their clock, their schedule, their milestones. Your life isn't late. It's just layered, woven with unseen pauses that serve a deeper rhythm. Let go of the timeline they sold you. You're not behind. You're beneath. Rooting. Growth doesn't always look like motion. Sometimes it's stillness. Sometimes it's sleep. Sometimes it's sitting in the quiet long enough to finally hear your own voice again. Comparison steals peace, but presence restores it. You don't need to race toward healing. You need to remember. You're already on the path. You're not too much. You're not too sensitive. You're not overreacting. You feel deeply because you care deeply. And that is not a flaw. You're allowed to take up emotional space, to cry without apology, to speak without shrinking, to need without shame. The world told you to hush, to harden, to hide the parts of you that trembled. But those parts, they're sacred. Healing begins when you stop apologizing for your softness, when you stop trying to be palatable, when you let your full self breathe out loud. So tonight, breathe as fully as you want. Feel as deeply as you do. You were never too much. You were always just more than they could hold. When everything gets quiet, that's when truth begins to rise. Not as noise, but as a whisper you almost forgot how to hear. The silence is not empty. It's not a void to be feared. It's a mirror, a teacher, a reminder. It holds space for your truest thoughts, the ones drowned out by endless motion, by distractions that pretended to be comfort. Stillness reveals what busyness buried. And maybe the answers you've been chasing aren't out there. They're in here, waiting. Let the silence stretch. Let it teach you where you're tender. Let it tell you what you truly need, not what's expected, not what's efficient, but what's true. You keep thinking you're lost, but maybe you're just landing into a version of yourself that no longer fits the old map. The signs don't make sense anymore. Not because you're broken, but because you've outgrown the coordinates. Your spirit is making a new map, one drawn in pauses, in patterns of breath, in the ache that leads to alignment. This isn't the wilderness. It's the waiting room between who you were and who you're quietly becoming. You don't need to rush out of it. You need to rest inside of it. To trust that what feels directionless is actually deep orientation. So breathe. You're not lost. You're arriving, one soft landing at a time. Some healing sounds like laughter. Some healing sounds like shouting. But some healing sounds like silence, like a breath you didn't realize you were holding. Like choosing to sleep in instead of push through. Like saying not today to the weight of performance. Healing isn't always loud. It's not always triumphant. It doesn't always look impressive. Sometimes healing is invisible, unapplauded, deeply personal. It's choosing kindness toward your own thoughts. It's unclenching your jaw before you even notice the tension. It's giving yourself permission to rest, even when nothing is crossed off the list. Tonight, let the quiet count. Let the soft moments be sacred. You don't need fireworks to prove you're healing. Sometimes all you need is to simply be. You've been gaslit by life, by people who minimized your pain, by voices outside and inside that told you you're overreacting. But listen to me clearly. What you feel is real. Your pain isn't a performance. Your emotion isn't a burden. Feelings are data, not drama. They're messages, not mistakes. They're sacred signposts pointing you home. Stop second-guessing your own heart. Stop filtering your truth to make others more comfortable. Stop apologizing for carrying a soul that feels deeply. You were made this way, tender and tuned in. And that is a strength. So, if the tears rise, let them. If the anger stirs, notice it. If the ache surfaces, honor it. Your body is wise. Your heart is honest. And your feelings are not an inconvenience. They're evidence that you're alive. Grief is not a puzzle to be solved. It's not a riddle for your intellect to untangle. It's a storm that moves through the soul, uninvited, unruly, unapologetic. You can't logic your way out of it. Can't positive think it into silence. Can't shortcut your way through the ache. Grief demands presence, not perfection. It asks you to sit with what you lost and breathe anyway. It teaches through tenderness, through moments when the world moves on, but your heart still kneels beside the empty chair. And that's okay. That's human. Let yourself miss them. Let yourself ache. Let yourself remember. Without guilt. There's no gold medal for rushing grief. But there is deep honor in feeling it honestly. You've been told rest is laziness. That stillness is stagnation. But hear me. Rest is resistance. It pushes back against a world that only values output. It says, I matter, even when I do nothing. It reclaims your worth from the grip of productivity. You are not a machine. You're not here to be maximized, inaivifash. You're not here to burn out in service of someone else's goals. Rest is sacred rebellion. It's saying yes to your body, to your boundaries, to your being. Tonight, don't earn your rest. Receive it. Let it wash over you like forgiveness. Let it hold you like a lullaby. You deserve rest. Not because you finished the list, but because you are human.